Games Workshop has recently released an extended gameplay of Space Marine 2, and it sure kicks ass with its excellent graphics, a more heavy focus on the Tyranids, and the gruesome reality of battle within the grimdark setting, especially from the perspective of humans facing a Tyranid invasion. So here in this video we will showcase the best scenes from that extended gameplay preview and explain why it is so ripe and accurate with showcasing Warhammer in all its inglory. So let's get to it. The first scene, the attrition warfare akin to World War I trench battlegrounds. The Imperial Guard, also referred to as the Astra Militarum, is the primary human fighting force in the Imperium of Man. Their experience in war is characterized by a series of grim realities that reflect the harshness and hopelessness in the setting. They usually face unsurmountable odds against powerful and numerous enemies such as the Tyranid swarms, as in this case, and also against berserking orcs, heretical cults, and demonic entities. Their enemies can either have superior technology, strength, abilities, or just an overwhelming number, making victory a distant and often unattainable goal. Individual soldiers are often treated as expendable resources, and officers might order waves of soldiers to charge headlong into danger with the expectation that many will die, all in service of a greater goal. In the case of battle against the Tyranids, defense is usually the best offense, and here in this gameplay we can see trenches and simple fortifications used to slow down the unstoppable swarm, and often employing kill zones in order to wipe out as many as possible before eventually being killed. Number 2. The using of high explosive bombs to eradicate Tyranid hordes. Devising effective strategies to combat Tyranids requires a combination of understanding their strengths and weaknesses, keeping in mind that the effectiveness of these strategies can vary based upon the specific circumstances of the battle and the forces involved. Tyranids often rely on their superior speed and close combat abilities. They are good with melee and somewhat lacking in range. Engaging them from a distance can be effective, especially with heavy artillery, tanks, and long-range units that can be clearly seen in the gameplay. Weapons with high rates of fire, with area of effect attacks and flamethrowers can be effective in thinning out the large number of Tyranid infantry and forcing them to spread out. Setting up choke points, minefields, and other obstacles can help to funnel Tyranid forces into kill zones, where they can be engaged more effectively. To target them individually is usually a losing strategy, so when the bombers drop their ordnance and kill a huge number of the Gorns, their tactics were considered effective and actually in line with the lore, so kudos to that. Weapons of mass destruction would be the best way to clear the field, but since they would kill humans as well, they will be used sparingly. Number 3. The scene where the IG, the Imperial Guard, gives respect to the Space Marines and how rare it is for them to see one. So in the vast Imperium, there are approximately 1 million worlds, and then also 1 million Space Marines from different chapters divided into chapters of around 1,000 each. This equates to one Space Marine chapter being responsible for guarding roughly 1,000 Imperial worlds, or 1 Marine per world. So suppose out of the 1,000 worlds, 100 of them are facing invasions, infighting or infiltration by Xenos and Chaos. The Marines will be dispatched only to the most dire of battle zones, let's say 10 of them, a company of 100 for each world. So the potential is people in 10 planets seeing the Astartes. But remember, the planets are battle zones with trenches, fortifications, mountains, forests, and all obstacles imaginable, and the soldiers are spread out to a large area. So how likely is for an Imperial Guardsman out of the millions fighting over the entire surface of a planet, how rare is it for one of them to see a group of Marines who are elusive and mythical to them? That is like 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000 that will likely see a Marine. So that rarity, and added the propaganda behind them, the Marines, gives them the very high respect from a simple man with a las gun, hence why they bow down and call them the Emperor's Angels. Number 4. The Hive mind's intelligence in coordinating the swarm and its individual bioforms. Well, the Hive mind's ability to coordinate the actions of the entire swarm is a formidable aspect of the Tyranid threat. It enables the Tyranids to function as a unified and adaptable force, constantly evolving and adapting to overcome whatever obstacles are in their path during an invasion. As the Tyranids consume and assimilate biological matter from conquered worlds, this allows the Hive mind to learn about the strengths and weaknesses of its enemies, adapting its strategies accordingly. The Hive mind establishes a telepathic link between all Tyranid organisms within its influence, better coordinated with synapse bioforms. This allows instantaneous communications and coordination across vast distances. Let's face it, a single Tyranid is of no consequence to the swarm. The nits only care about the net gain in biomass, And if it is to sacrifice 1,000,000 in order to have just a slight net profit, it will do so. Hence why we see the World War Z type of scenario in the gameplay, with hordes of Gaunts rushing, even creating a ladder of their dead bodies to climb up and attack, all in the hopes of gaining more biomass. And number 5, the plethora of different bioforms and similar ones with different attack forms. Now the first ones we see in the gameplay, the Tyranids, are the numerous gargoyles in the air, as well as the Gaun hordes in the front lines. This was only possible with Saber Interactive's unique game engine, which impressed players with its impressive depiction of massive waves of enemies, as in the previously released game called World War Z. The first close-up fight in the gameplay was actually against a warrior strain, and of course with Hormagaunts emerging from a mycetic spore. These are the basic melee units of the Nids, the Gaunts being the cannon fodder, while the warriors are like lieutenants, rarer and more powerful. And we also get to see a variation of the Gaunts, the ones with ranged weapons. These are called Termagaunts, firing their spike rifles. A bit later we come to the spore mines, which are available in the swamp. These are floating bioforms that explode with acid to kill victims, also digesting the bodies into biomass for consumption by rippers. A bit later again, after seeing the orbital guns, we see a warrior strain with a death spitter ranged weapon. Also, near the end of the gameplay, we also see a rare zoanthrope. These are very powerful synapse bioforms, and the zoanthropes have psychic abilities. They coordinate the Gaun horde, or the swarm, along with the warriors, and they had to be taken down to disorganize the numerous lesser forms and to win the battle. So that's about it for now. Those are the Space Marine 2 gameplay scenes, 5 best scenes, along with Tyranid bioforms being explained. Anyway, I see that many of you haven't subscribed yet. I hope you do and push us through in the YouTube algorithm. And while you're at it, bang on that bell icon for notifications. Like the video as well. Till the next time, take care, boys.